From the moment Tony Falcone first visited Key West in 1971 after getting out of the Navy, he realized it was special. The town may have been a little run down at the time, but Tony knew there was a magic here that made it different than anywhere else. A little while later, on another visit, this time with his partner Bill Conkle, he attended a reception at Gingerbread Square Gallery. Truman Capote was there, as well as a bartender they recognized from Captain Tony's, and Tennessee Williams stood talking with shrimpers in a corner. Tony realized that night that in Key West, it didn't matter who you were or how famous you were. The only thing people cared about was how interesting you were. He was sold. From day one, Tony cared deeply about Key West. And since he moved here, he's demonstrated that dedication through countless contributions to the community, helping to transform the island into the place it is today. Together with his partner Bill, he opened Fast Buck Freddie's. They came down with just enough money to put down a floor and some windows and set a store up in the first half of the building at its original location where La Trattoria is now. They lived in a stockroom in the back, and with no room for beds, they slept in hammocks. Their shower was a hose thrown over an almond tree that still exists at Virgilio's. And their dedication paid off. When Fast Bucks eventually became the iconic store that locals and visitors loved, and that the BBC once called America's most exciting retail environment. And of course, there's Fantasy Fest.
Earlier today, I spoke with one of the parade's founders, Tony Falcone of Fast Buck Freddie.
The first one happened 25 years ago. A small group of us had a couple floats. The town came out and cheered and yelled, and every year it got bigger and bigger.
Tony and a few other business owners had the idea that it might be nice to drum up some business during the island's off-season. The rest is history. For decades, he organized teams of artists and builders, creating giant floats and helping to turn Fantasy Fest into an incredible celebration of creativity and self-expression that caught the attention of the whole country. Less well-known, but perhaps more significant, in the early 90s, when Tony learned the Singleton Shrimp Company family who owned the historic Bight area was pulling up stakes and considering selling the land to developers, he and Jimmy Weekly, with others, led a long, intense battle to convince the city and voters that they needed to buy the Key West Bight. Eventually, the citizens of Key West approved a referendum for the funding to buy what is now the historic seaport. You can even thank him for the historic Strand sign. When Tony heard that it sold and that the new owner, Ripley's Believe It or Not, was trying to take the Strand sign down, he jumped on his bike, rode down to City Hall, and gave an impassioned speech about the importance of preserving one of the jewels of Duval Street. It worked, and to this day it still says Strand. For all the big, wonderful ways that Tony has contributed to the community, he's helped in 1,000 quiet ways too. From supporting and encouraging artists, to promoting a seemingly endless spirit of fun, from dedicating his time to community groups, to working for a brighter future for the island while sustaining the things that count, Tony has been a fierce advocate for Key West. Passionate, generous, creative, and a whole lot of fun, there couldn't be a person more deserving of the 2023 Golden Mango Award than Tony Falcone.